welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton's Communications Department. And today we're going to tell you a little bit about a relationship that our police department, or some members of our police department, have with the FBI National Academy. And it's a situation that brings training and a new level of contacts and professionalism. My guest is Jeff Walden. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you for having me.
So this started because I saw a press release a few months ago that you were elected to the board of the FBI National Academy, and I thought, wow, that is a wonderful and prestigious position. So let me start by saying congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
You attended the Academy a little while back, right?
Yes, I attended the National Academy in 2007. The FBI National Academy is a executive leadership school for police professionals, and it's represented from police departments around the country and around the world. In my particular class, we had 46 states represented with about 27 countries that were attending that National Academy class in 2007.
So how did that enhance you as a police officer? What did you learn and what did you bring back from that?
Well, the school itself allows us to see how other departments are approaching new problems in policing. It also develops relationships with not only federal agencies, but local and state agencies around the country. So anytime that I need assistance or officers need assistance with solving a problem, they have an outlet to turn to so that they can find out what the best practices have been and how to approach those problems.
That would make so much sense, especially in the post 9/11 era when police departments aren't just worried about local crime, but there's homeland security issues, and we have so many federal installations here in our region that I would think there would be a fair amount of overlap with, Air Force, with FBI, with a lot of the federal agencies.
Well, we're always working to build relationships with military, with the federal agencies, and I'm working with other state agencies on the National Academy Board for the Virginia chapter. This year, we have a conference, a retraining conference planned in Hampton from October the 19th to the 23rd. And we bring in former graduates and alumni from around the state to attend so that we can address some of the new issues that have come up in policing, and also we have some new technologies that are out and available for police agencies, and they have a chance to see those as well.
So I would assume that is, really a wealth of knowledge and information that you can share, because no police department is an island anymore. I mean, you have to expand your capacity by working with partners.
That's correct. We can't do this alone. Modern policing is cooperation between not only other law enforcement agencies, but the community itself. And we depend on the community to work with us to solve those crime problems in the area.
And let's just go there for a minute. And I know we're mostly talking about the FBI Academy, but you worked for a number of years in community relations and with the public. How important is that to the police, to the functioning of the police division?
It is so very important. I did work in community relations, working through neighborhood watch programs and crime lines. We build those relationships with the community. We build a public trust with the community. When we can reach out and call somebody for assistance, or they know who to pick up the phone and call in the police department versus just calling blindly and not knowing who they're speaking to. With the relationships that we've built with the community, and this has gone back to the late 70s to early 80s when the crime line program, the neighborhood watch program was established. Mm-hmm. We've built those relationships, and I think if you go out in the community and ask the police or ask the citizens how they feel about their police department, you'll find overwhelming positive response because they're able to put a face to that officer that they work with.
I think that is important. It gets to neighborhood policing. It gets to a number of the issues that the Safe and Clean campaign is focused on, and it's a little bit of a back to basics in terms of making sure that the community is linked in with the police department and with all of city government, and building that trust and having a two-way relationship.
That's exactly right. Without the public's trust, the police department can't do their job.
Right. Right. And it's a partnership. I mean, we are the community. We're not a separate, faraway staff. We need to work, know what they want, and they need to also help us do our job, or it takes a whole lot more of us. For one thing, it would be much more expensive to the taxpayers if we didn't have a good relationship with the community.
That's correct. And again, it's not just the police department. When we talked about safe and clean, it's a cooperation through all the city departments to address problems in a community.
Right. It's codes compliance, it's the fire department, and some safety, looking at that as a holistic issue rather than a problem of one type.
That's correct, and that's what we've been doing through the Safe and Clean initiative. We do work with other departments on a regular basis and working with the communities to find out what their specific problems are, and then we address those problems.
So let me get back to the FBI Academy. Can you give me an example of some way that those contacts have helped either you in your career or the Hampton Police Department?
Well, I use those contacts probably weekly. The National Academy, the Virginia chapter of the FBI National Academy has a lot of different programs that we do. We have scholarship programs for children of FBI Academy graduates to help send them through college, those that are interested in law enforcement careers and things of that nature. We have a police memorial fund that we help families of fallen officers that were killed in the line of duty in Virginia. Sadly, already it's been 2 officers this year that we've dedicated that fund to. We also have training programs for first-line supervisors, and the training programs are targeted to the smaller communities that don't necessarily have a large budget to train their officers, so we're able to offer those classes to the smaller communities, and that's held in Richmond once a year. And then, as I've spoken before, we have retrainers at the state conference every year.
And you also talked about how you share new technology, because I think that's so important. I know that Hampton Police Division has asked for quite a bit in terms of adding some in-car cameras and having more mobile two-way capability on the internet and the quick checking and things like that. What have you learned from other departments? I mean, I imagine it's tough to be on the cutting edge. You sort of want to be the second person who adopts a new technology.
Well, again, with the conference, we will have a number of vendors there. Technology is big in policing because if you can police smarter, it makes it easier for the community, and you don't necessarily need the intensive manpower. So the officers that are there can exchange ideas, tell what they've done, what technologies work for them, and the vendors, whether it be from body cameras to in-car cameras to computer programs to crime analysis programs to weapons. They have all of that there on display, and the officers are able to gather a lot of information, bring it back to their community, and decide how they wish to proceed.
That's amazing. Now, I'm going to ask how long you've been with the Hampton Police Department.
I have been with the police department for 29 years now. Prior to that, it was the fire department before I made the switch over, and I've really had a wonderful career here. Had a chance to do a number of different positions to include working with Crime Line as the public information officer, crimes against persons, investigations, and SWAT team, and I just had a number of different responsibilities throughout the department.
Obviously, you're very versatile, and you've learned a lot, through the police academy and through advances in the police department. But how would you say policing is maybe different than it was 29 years ago, and how is it the same?
I would say the big difference is the technology and the training that we have for our police officers. We are constantly getting the bigger and better training, the most cutting-edge training that we have, which was different than when we started. What's the same? Community policing is the same. We've always relied on the trust of the community. We've always been out in the community, building those relationships. It was a program started under Chief Minetti, and it continues today under Chief Salt.
Well, that's wonderful. And that's a good way to wrap up. But if there's anything else you wanted to add that I've forgotten to ask you, please feel free to do so.
Well, I thank you for having me here today. It's been an honor to be elected to the FBI National Academy's Virginia chapter as the president, and look forward to the conference in October.
Great. And congratulations again, and thank you for helping to bring the conference to Hampton. We will enjoy seeing all of those officers here, and I hope the community can support that in some way.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you for watching. I hope you've learned a little bit more about the relationships and training that the FBI National Academy can build and bring to Hampton. Thank you.